Hello, everyone. Welcome to this conversation between myself and David, who I'll introduce in a second. I'm Chris Wade, Gamma's Chief Marketing and Product Officer, here with David Direito today from Cisco to talk about all things that Cisco are building from a collaboration perspective, but also more broadly, thinking about AI, the collaboration experience, network, security, and bringing everything together to set up a forward-looking, future-proof, secure, resilient communications infrastructure. So, David, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself so people know who you are, why you're here, what you do?
Yeah, of course. David Direito, and I'm one of the regional sales managers at Cisco. So I look after the collaboration world for what we call SMB and the commercial space for our customers. So exciting times at the moment with Cisco and Gamma.
Nice one. Great to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. I guess, the thing for us that we are super excited about right now is bringing the Webex client over the Horizon platform that we've had for many, many years working with you guys. I know you're just back from Vegas and the kickoff and full of the enthusiasm and excitement of an annual sales kickoff of a software company. What kind of things are you hearing about there? What have you seen in that sort of collaboration UC world that makes you stay excited about it? And what are you looking for from the future?
Yeah, interesting. So I would probably say over the last 4 years, our team's heavily been focused in the investment areas around the movement to cloud. And that movement to cloud kind of looked at certain areas around hybrid work, improving the workforce as well as the workplace. And so we saw a lot of customers come to us with challenges around those key areas. Now, some of that was very much things that we see and play with every day from a device perspective, whether it's video devices, phones, headsets, etc. So that tied in with hybrid work styles that customers were looking for, as well as then consolidating offices or refreshing offices and trying to get people back to work. Or do they do a hybrid work style? Or which way do they go? So a lot of discussions around that, but smart buildings was really where customers wanted to move towards, and sustainability journeys they wanted to hear about. Yeah. So for the last 4 years, we started to focus in that sort of area. And naturally, you can't think of the workforce without a UCaaS or a CPaaS platform when you start to think of customer experiences or the way people need to operate and communicate. So huge investments in those areas. And we just saw nearly 20% growth in that year on year. And it just became incredible for the last 4 years to really help our customers around those areas and work with partners that could help us deliver that and really grow together. Yeah. So that's kind of what we've been challenged with the last 4 years. And now we're seeing Cisco evolve from that and starting to bring out some new stuff, like you alluded to from Vegas. We're starting to see investment areas in AI. We know it's a massive subject, but you can't go into AI without building supercomputers, and building supercomputers needs fast networks and needs infrastructure. So that's kind of where we're starting to focus on. How do we then allow that to infiltrate the camp in terms of our technology areas, technology platforms? And how do we then also start to make that true to our customers? How can they actually make use of those technologies to move things forward?
Yeah. And that putting it in the hands of customers, I suppose, is where we're thinking about with the Webex platform over Horizon today. It's like that key thing. You've got all those users who've trusted Gamma and our channel partners to put a telephony and a UC system in for them. And then they're sitting watching the world of AI happen somewhat disconnected from it. And of course, well, we certainly think with the Webex client over Horizon, you're actually marrying the best of both worlds there. So you've got the telephony infrastructure in that core, and then you're putting that rich user experience over the front of it, bringing in those AI capabilities that everyone who talks about AI, hears about it, has no idea what it really means or how hard it is to do it. And what you've just described is Cisco, and the reason Gamma's working with you in this is the investment you're making, the expertise you have in those spaces allows us to take that with you to our channel partners, to our customers, and bring like I say, the best of those worlds together, telephony, but enriched with AI, enriched with video, enriched with IM, before you even get into some of the things you're talking about in terms of smart buildings, enabled spaces. Many SMEs full stop are like, what's that mean? Yeah. But the reality is it will come, and if you're laying the platform, working with Gamma and Cisco together. So you've got the Horizon platform, you've got the Webex and the intelligence in there, the Cisco devices, as you described, that allow people to understand what's happening in their spaces. You see more and more things come to life from that. It's why we're so excited about it. And I guess you're looking at Webex and going, it's something you're familiar with for a number of years. 20% growth is not to be sniffed at, kind of thing. That's a really good platform for it. Extending that into CCaaS, bringing devices in, do you see any end to that, or is that kind of continuing development from a Cisco perspective?
No, continuing development, massive developments, and you're quite right. So you can't have that UCaaS conversation on its own. I mean, that UCaaS and CPaaS are tied together, and buildings and workforce are tied together. So it's natural that you've got to evolve and have those conversations and building blocks for the customers, an ability to deliver all. Then to tie that in with AI future stuff that's going to start to enhance those platforms and user experiences, that's just second to none. That's where we'll start drifting away from the competition, I believe. But yeah, in the UCaaS and CPaaS element, CPaaS huge. Like, customers are investing in CPaaS, but you can't have it without UCaaS. It's bread and butter. They go together, right? So, or jam if people prefer jam. But in that sort of element, you do have to look at customers' journeys, and I still think a lot of customers out there are very much on-prem, not thinking about how do I move to cloud and what's the right experience for me, or what's the right partner and vendor that I choose. And people do still get caught up in features and functionalities. And what we're trying to step away from is look at those business challenges you have, the outcomes that you're trying to achieve, the experience you're trying to deliver. And if you truly look at the platform that we have together and how we can deliver that for customers, that's where they need to focus, because that's where we will move businesses forward and organizations forward. And I'm pretty sure that you can't do any of this without partners that actually know how to deploy it and deliver it. And so partners are the key piece to this moving Cisco forward.
And I think we'd echo that. We look at our partner community, and we want to put that capability in their hands. Yeah. Like you're saying, you want them to be enabling the conversations with their customers about, don't worry about this piece of acronym soup that we've just talked about. Yeah. Think about these business problems, but also think about what you want to enable for your people and for your customers going forward, because we are all proper prima donnas now. Yeah. I'm old enough to remember where the internet wasn't a thing, but then you go, Amazon used to deliver in a week, and now you get all upset if it doesn't deliver within a day. We've brought that into our interactions with every business, not just Amazon, but every small business. And similarly at work, the number of times you press a piece of kit in an office and it doesn't work, and you kind of go, well, that's 10 minutes of my life I'm not getting back. Yeah. You just want it to work, don't you? And like you, we want to work with Cisco. We're all working with Cisco to try and catch that and then put it in a consumable form for our channel community to pass on to SMEs and into our direct sales force for them to solve those problems, because it's a whole value chain, isn't it? They're solving those problems.
Exactly that. Huge emphasis there on the experience side, right? You have to get that right. And the technology is becoming easier. We're investing in those AI areas to make that experience easier. So imagine an AI assistant in Webex or the UCaaS or CPaaS platform that starts to allow you to recommend things, deploy things, integrate things without you having to figure it out or call your partner to really like do the deployment over a week. How about this AI assistant supporting both of you to actually get these things done quicker and faster? That is where we're starting to invest, and that is a game changer. If we can build that faster and quicker, and you start to see it, that's where the experience becomes really simple, and customers will start investing more in those areas. And that's where I'm starting to get excited around the platform. So going back to those kind of outcomes that customers want to achieve, it's going back to simple discussions. Let's sit down, let's understand those challenges. Let's sit in your infrastructures, right? If we're sat in your buildings or in your contact centers and we see how you operate and we understand what challenges you've got or how you want to move forward as a business, we'll figure it out. Like, you don't need to worry about that. Just get Cisco Gamma involved and the partners. We'll do the hard work.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, and hopefully the AI assistants will just tell us what to do.
Tell us as much as anything.
So, Chris, question for you actually.
Yeah, sure.
obviously we've seen a lot of investment in UCaaS and CPaaS and those platforms coming together from a platform play perspective.
Yeah.
Call it Webex, call it Cisco calling, call it Cisco contact center. It doesn't really matter. But those elements of really huge growth, how have you seen it evolve as a partner? So give us your perspective of where you've been and where you're going.
Yeah, that's a good shout, good question. So I think a bit like some of the other things we've talked about, you've got people on a journey. You've got people who came into communications going, I need a telephone number and I need to be able to make telephone calls fundamentally. And that still exists, but it's just got things layered on top. And for me, our response is about addressing those layers. So the telephone need stays. It's why we've got such a strong commitment to the Horizon product. But actually, every single business actually at some point in the not too distant future is going to want something more than just a phone call. They're going to want to think about multimedia, so SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook message, video, IM, all those kind of things. Because I don't know about your kids, but mine don't do telephones. They have to talk to people, they get all shy. But if you can type it on a keyboard, they'll say anything to anybody. So we're going to have to sort of adapt to that demographic shift as an economy. So from Gamma's perspective, we want to take the businesses who've invested in us, our customers and our partners in that sort of core calling infrastructure and give them a path to being able to bring all that richness in. And that's where the Webex for Horizon product really comes to the fore for us. So taking the best of the telephony platform and marrying that with the best of the AI-powered experience over the front of it. There are going to be people who are looking for more complexity maybe in the telephony, more richness in those multimedia stuff, more complex environments. And for that, we look at the Webex calling as a starting point, I think, for those people going forward, so they get a slightly bigger, more robust, more flexible, more scalable solution. And then even beyond that, you're into people who've got really specialized, who run genuine contact centers, and they're going to need the next level beyond it. So we look working with Cisco, the Cisco contact type capability married to all those things. So for us, it's, it can't be one size fits all because there's different price points, different expectations of performance, different tolerances for change, and you want to be able to accommodate as many of those as you can. So we want to be bringing new capability into the portfolio, Webex for Horizon, Webex calling, Webex contact, and then marrying it and making it consumable for the channel partners and for customers to consume directly, so that they're getting that value. And like we talked earlier, they're using the richness of the technology and getting to the value as quickly as possible. So it's got multiple stages in it, and I think it kind of depends on what the customer wants, which is a good place to start, isn't it? What's their problem? What do they think they need? And how do we have a conversation with them about, if that's your need, this is the right solution for you? And we're confident that with those different points of sort of entry into that portfolio, we have a solution for every need. And it's going to give people the ability to take the investment with them that they've made, so they don't have to retrain staff, they don't have to reprogram a load of handsets because no one knows how to do it anymore, but actually they get a load of richness over the front of it. And then when they're ready, or they need to add, they get a new kid in the workforce or whatever, they can add capability that those people will expect to see, and they'll let them serve needs in a slightly different way. So you go from a receptionist in a dental practice who can maybe pick up WhatsApps asking for an appointment, right the way through to a 1,000-seat contact center where you've got agents doing 4 or 5 different media types simultaneously, doing 15 customer interactions at the same time as people do it asynchronously, and you've still got people conventionally picking up the phone and ringing in. You've got to be flexible and adaptable to all those things. And I think that's where the calling portfolio in its entirety works for us, marries the best of your technology enhancements and our history, heritage of being able to deliver those out to market. So like you said before, it's about the partnerships that come together, and 1 + 1 = 3. So I think that's how I see it working out, at least.
Perfect. But more interesting, how's Gamma Games?
Oh, Gamma Games, good fun for anyone who's listening doesn't know. So one of the things I think actually Gamma and Cisco share is a commitment to doing good and being a good business. So we ran an event for our suppliers, old school sports day, for those who are old enough to remember those. I think we got to 5 or 6 moderately severe injuries. What happens when you get old people playing sports? great fun. And I think in collectively we raised something like 25, 30 grand for a couple of charities as well.
Amazing.
So it was really good. Again, Cisco, part of that. It's about creating that ecosystem, isn't it? Getting people together, having fun. Because business is more than just business. Sometimes it's how you do those relationships, how you keep them sustained over time to respond.
Absolutely. And so, evolving from that, what other events might be coming up?
Cool. So we have a big event for our partners coming up in October. Cisco's are going to be part of that. We have Microsoft, we have Amazon there as well. All people that we work with in this desire to provide choice into an ecosystem. So October the 10th. Called Gammaverse, getting hopefully 500 or 600 of our partners, key partners from the UK there, to talk about all the things that we've just talked about in this podcast, and also a few more bits and pieces as well that are coming down the track. And we actually have an equivalent of that in Germany. We'll have big business in Germany, which is in January. It's a bit more of a sales kickoff, and that's sort of the focal point for those communities, because it's good to get people together. Gamma Games was one thing. Getting people together to talk about business and talk about exciting things going down the path is another part of it. But it's really important part of being in that and delivering solutions and services out. What about yourselves? What kind of things do you guys do?
Yeah, very, very key and hot topic, key to how we operate too. We do a lot of time to give. So we, as a team, we get 10 days throughout the year that we have to give back to the community. So we do a lot of stuff in those areas. We'd love to get more involved with Gamma and joining those communities up. But outside of that, we have Webex 1 coming up in October, 21st to the 24th. So a great opportunity for everyone to start to listen to the stuff that we've just been talking about today. A lot of that will come out, and then seeing is believing. So you've got to go to that event if you want to see how this is going to evolve. That's the place to do it.
Yep.
After that, or before that, we've got an event in September that my team's putting together.
Right.
We're trying to bring partners in to educate them, customers in to educate them. So we're going to create a future workplace event, and that is going to be shown and seeing and believing. So we'll broadcast it across London, Bedford, and Manchester.
Cool.
And we'll allow customers to touch and feel the products and see it for real. That this stuff actually works.
Yeah, seeing is believing.
That's it.
Awesome.